Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome to another installment of Tony's Take. All right, so this just went down right now. I actually didn't even think to do a Tony's Take on it, thanks to Charles Singletary, who's my buddy from the Koalition and who also writes for Comic Book Resources. He was like, yo, I think Tony's Take is required on this. So basically, Bethesda put out a press thing literally right now saying that they're not going to be sending out review copies of Skyrim Remastered and Dishonored 2. They're going to be, they're not going to send them out like weeks or whatever beforehand. They're only going to send out review copies the day before the game's launch. They said that this strategy worked really well for them for Doom, and they're going to continue that. Their reasoning is that they want consumers and game publications and YouTubers and streamers and all that other jazz to experience the game at the same time, right? That's what they're saying. And yeah, interestingly enough, they're gonna keep on doing this. I actually went on a mini rant about this on Twitter, right? By the way, excuse me if I'm talking a little bit incoherently. I was in the middle of eating and shit, before I started recording this, right? So yeah, I went on a mini rant on this on Twitter because I'm actually of two minds, right? And you know what? It actually does make for a pretty decent video. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's tackle this first from a consumer / game publication standpoint, right? Okay, if you're a consumer, let's say you're interested in Dishonored, right? You want to know more about it before you plunk down $60. You can't do that anymore because the game's going to be released. There's no reviews out. You're going to only have the word of Bethesda to go on, right? So you're going to be less informed than you normally would be because of this, right? And then obviously, if you're a game publication, I'm talking about the big guys like IGN and stuff like that, you're not serving your fans, letting them know what the deal is because you don't have the game to review, right? So from that standpoint, I can see why people are upset. And also because, let's just, be honest here. Usually when games are released, to the publications the day beforehand, kind of means the game sucks. Now, that's not the case. I mean, look at Bethesda's Doom, for example, right? That was released a day before to publications, and Doom is probably the game of the year. It is brilliant, right? So, although it isn't always the case that a game's going to be bad, we've all been conditioned to think if a game isn't, out for review until the day before, it's going to be bad. This is actually different because it's not that reviews will not be published the day before. They're getting copies the day before, which means reviews are probably not going to come out for a week at least, And here's another thing that could be bad about this, right? For a fact that these companies are going to try to rush these reviews out, which means less informed reviews in general, right? Because they're trying to beat out the other guy, So you're going to see a lot of that from the major publications. I don't expect too much of that. Most of them seem to play the games as much as they need to before releasing them. I'm really talking about more of the independent guys. These guys, man, they're gonna just play the game for a couple hours and just get the review out there so they could be the first one, So this could potentially lead to, I guess, the quality of game reviews dipping, right? That's a major concern, right? So that's that perspective, and then here's my other perspective, right? And this is kind of personal, but whatever, right? Okay. Even though now, for the last year, basically, I've been a professional games writer, right? I get paid to do this, right? But for most of my gaming career, I have been an independent writer, which means I would never get a release copy until the day of. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would always have to wait. So for me personally, this doesn't change anything. I'm still going to be getting the game, the day of, mostly the day of, and then doing my coverage afterwards. And you know what? That's actually okay because I've always felt that the industry has a problem when it comes to, we always talk about a game, we hype it to high hell before it drops, right? Then as soon as it's released, that's it. All coverage ceases. On to the next game. That doesn't make any sense. Shouldn't the conversation start when the game is actually released, when it's actually out there for people to actually enjoy? I never understood that. So if this leads to us actually talking about games after launch, I'm for it, man. I am completely for it. And again, because I like being honest with you guys, there's a little bit of schadenfreude in that I'm feeling right now, just seeing these big guys crying over this. I know that's kind of petty and fucked up, but just seeing these guys like, why am I not getting my copy? I'm like, we never got our copies either, bitch. Stop it. You know, so I am kind of reveling in that a little bit. I know that's wrong, but I'm just being honest. So what do I think about this? Basically, you know, again, personally, I don't care. I think it's actually a good thing, to be honest. Release the games, you know, I mean, really, release reviews like after the game comes out, when you actually should be talking about it. I'm gonna tell you one thing right now: YouTubers and streamers, they're actually gonna be the ones that benefit most from this, because I guarantee you that even though game publications are not gonna be getting early review copies, those YouTubers, I'm talking about guys like PewDiePie, they're gonna be getting copies early, and you're gonna see that shit on their channels. I guarantee you that. And you know why you're gonna see that? It's actually pretty simple, because unlike traditional gaming publications, these guys on YouTube aren't exactly professional. They are more prone to hype. You know, I'm trying to use my words here correctly, but they're more prone to be susceptible to, I guess, not exactly be coerced, but they're more likely to be more positive about the coverage. You know, you know what I'm trying to say here, but I'm not gonna say it. But they're more prone to that. And also, let's just be honest, most guys on YouTube are just regular dudes, right? They're not professionals, so they're naturally going to be more hyped up, and companies want that. Because let's just be honest, man, a lot of like traditional publications, these guys are stuffy as shit. They're boring, you know. They've been doing their job forever. They hate games, you know. So they don't, you know, they just present games in like the most boring, mundane fashion, right? The guys that are on YouTube doing this every day, they love games. So you know they're going to be hyped up. So that's what the companies want. This is why, you know, every time I go to a show, you know, the game developers love Hip Hop Gamer, for example. Shout out to Hip Hop Gamer, because he goes in there and he's genuinely enthused. Then you got a guy like Steven Totillo, like, my man, what are you doing here? You look bored out of your mind. You know, so that they're, you know, these publishers are tapping into that, and I totally get it. You know, I understand it. This is, I guess, the new, you know, the new thing now. You know, it's like, I think now that Bethesda's doing it, and Bethesda, for whatever reason, people love Bethesda. I mean, I get it. They create games, they just make very buggy games. But if Bethesda's leading the charge, you know other publishers are going to do it. Hell, it's already started. So this is just the new norm. I guess we'll just have to get adjust to it, get used to it, whatever. But yeah, I don't, you know, people are going to be going crazy about this. I personally say, don't worry about it. You know, read previews. Here's the thing, you know, this is how I want to end off. If the game doesn't have a lot of preview coverage, you should be concerned about it. Don't worry about the reviews, man. Worry about those previews, right? I'm going to give you an example right now. Watch Dogs. That game got next to no previews. The game came out and, you know, Watch Dogs was what it was. Watch Dogs 2, on the other hand, getting a lot of preview coverage, right? So I would say, and this is going back to the old school, like we used to do it back in my day, right? Read previews, watch previews. Now we're in the YouTube era. Read previews, watch previews, and go with your gut, man. Like, don't like hedge all your bets on like what somebody says. You have to get this. You should avoid it. Check out some previews, and if the game feels right for you, then you check it out. You know, don't worry about reviews, which is great, because I've been telling people this for years. Don't worry about fucking reviews, man. Reviews don't mean shit. You know, check out a preview and see what you think about it, you know? And then after launch, obviously, talk to your buddies, see if they picked it up. Maybe they like it. Again, you know, go to your favorite streamer, see if they like the game and stuff. You know, there's other venues out there besides traditional media out there, which is hilarious, me saying it, because I am fucking traditional media, but, you know, I'm just being honest here, you know? So that's pretty much that for this video. I don't want to ramble on too long. So yeah, very, very, very interesting news. I want to know what you guys think about this. So please let me know in the comments. Do you think this is a good thing? Do you think it's okay to, you know, withhold these preview copies from publishers until the day before, the day after? Or do you think, you know, it's just something these guys have to get used to? All right, that's it. Once again, I was Tony from the Koalition. I want to thank you all for watching this video. Make sure to hit like on this video, hit down like, whatever, you know, subscribe to the channel, and comment. All right, I'll see you all next time. Later.
The Koalition.